Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Royal Download. My name is Tristan Flum here with Nathan Gergen, Turner Graves, Connor Kelly, David DeSplinter, Lee Cook, and AJ Brisbane. We got a lot of people on today, and we're gonna we're gonna talk about a bunch of different topics, and let's go ahead and get right into it. We're gonna talk about college football playoff rankings, and wow, Turner, you are really tall today.
This doesn't happen very often.
We're gonna talk about the college football playoff rankings newly introduced last night as of the day of filming. So we're going to go ahead and talk about it. And we have a new number one, Ohio State. Let's go ahead and
back where they should be.
Let's go ahead and talk about the rankings. What you think? Do you like it? Do you not?
Love it.
Yeah, of course you do because you're an Ohio State fan. I think the same argument can be made for any of the top teams. They really haven't played anybody. Ohio State's toughest team has been, Cincinnati? Wisconsin, and then it's gonna be a good game, them and Penn State. But I think any team, Ohio State, LSU, or Bama could all make a push for number one right now. I think it's just gonna be a good couple weeks. There's a lot of good games, and I guess we'll see where it goes.
Because as we're talking about the top 10, Ohio State is 1, LSU's 2, Alabama at 3. Penn State at 4, Clemson at 5, Georgia 6, Oregon 7, Utah 8, Oklahoma, my team, 9, and the Florida Gators 10.
Here's what I think. I think Baylor should be a top 10 team. I know they haven't played like too many quality opponents, but they're in the Big 12. They're undefeated. They should be in the top 10. I think LSU really should have gotten that number 1. Ohio State should have been number 2, just because LSU, considering who they've beaten, the team they have, and the schedule they have ahead of them. I think if it comes to LSU and Ohio State winning out, I think LSU is going to take number 1. And those are my impressions on the schedule right now. I do like the rankings. I think the top 10 could be a little different, but ultimately I think they nailed it.
I mean, your Iowa Hawkeyes are at 18. You got teams You get teams all over.
They should be ahead of Minnesota, I think. But,
I think at this point, really, only the top 7 have a shot at being the playoffs. I think
Utah has a chance. If they win out, they can be in.
I think if Oregon, in the right circumstances, could sneak in there, there's got to be a lot of things happen. Bama has to lose to both LSU and Auburn. Penn State would have to lose to Ohio State pretty bad. But
Oklahoma's out. We lost. We're out. We lost to Kansas State. We're out.
Yeah, you can't lose to Kansas State in the playoffs.
Nope.
Especially with how good the other teams are.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get some other people. David, Connor, Lee.
I would have to agree with what Nathan said. LSU should have the top spot considering they've beaten Texas, Florida, and Auburn. But then on the other hand, if Alabama does win out against LSU and Auburn, I feel like it would be a tough decision considering if Alabama and Ohio State win out, I feel like that could be a toss-up between who gets the number 1 spot between them.
Yeah.
AJ?
I think the rankings are pretty fair. Again, I agree that I think LSU should be number 1. They've just been the most dominant team all season, in my opinion, so far. But besides that, I'd say they're pretty fair. I also think that IU should have snuck in that top 25. But
yeah.
Wow.
No.
Okay.
Connor?
Who are your top 4 teams right now? If the college football playoffs started today, mine would be LSU at 1, Ohio State 2, Alabama 3, Clemson 4. Nate.
I told some of these guys my top 4 last night, but I think I changed it up a little bit. I think LSU 1, Ohio State 2, Alabama 3, and Penn State 4.
Okay. Turner?
Right now, before any of the big games played, I would say LSU 1, Ohio State 2, probably Alabama 3, and Penn State 4. Same as Nathan, but I mean, obviously it's going to change, but for right now, that's what I'm saying.
I'd go Ohio State 1, fill in the losers after that. Does not matter.
Ouch.
After that, no, but in all seriousness,
Typical
Ohio State.
Typical Ohio State.
Ohio State, Alabama, LSU, and Ohio State, LSU, Alabama, and then I'd put in Clemson as well.
I'm going to pretty much agree with everyone else here with LSU and Ohio State flipping and the rest staying the same with Alabama and Penn State at 3 and 4.
I would also have to agree with that. It's pretty much, we all have the same opinion. But although Ohio State and Penn State still have to play each other, and Alabama and LSU still have to play each other, and considering obviously one of those teams or two of those teams has to lose, the top four is going to be significantly somewhat different by the time we actually get to the playoffs.
This week's just going to take a blender of that top four. And
Two of the teams that are in it right now
they're not going to
won't
be in there.
Exactly, yeah.
AJ?
I'd go 1 LSU, 2 Bama, 3 Ohio State, 4 Penn State.
Ooh, dropping Ohio
Ooh,
State.
all the
Alright.
way down.
Ooh.
Well, I just think that was the most Ohio State thing to say, by the way. Ohio State at 1,
then
all the losers. That was
No one's
probably
touching
the
Ohio
most
State
Ohio
this
State thing I could ever hear.
All right, guys, moving on. We want to thank our sponsor, Sky Zone. Southeastern Sports Network is made possible by Sky Zone and Fishers this year. Come and fly with them this fall. Sky Zone in Fishers off 121st Street, reminding you to have fun and fly safe. A big shout out to Sky Zone, who is sponsoring SSN for all 3 sports seasons this year. Big shout out to Sky Zone. And now on to the next roundtable topic. We're going to talk about the first night of college basketball, and we're also going to highlight possibly the biggest college football game all year, even though it's not 1 and 2 anymore, Alabama, LSU. So let's go ahead and kick it off with some college basketball.
Well, I just want to say that Marquette beat Loyola Maryland, so they should deserve the number 1 ranking. I think college. I think Kentucky, Michigan State. That was a outcome I think most of us expected. Michigan State's always overranked to start the year, and it's a night in. We can't really. There's teams that haven't played yet, so it's going to be a fun season. I think Duke isn't going to be the powerhouse that they were. It's going to be a fun season, though. I think SEC's wide open.
Last night, the Champions Classic with Duke and Kansas at the first game. I think it was a good game. Both teams had their struggles, but came down to the wire, and Kansas tried to shoot 3 layups when they were down 3 with 20 seconds left. Don't really understand that, but Duke came out with the win. And then Michigan State, they looked awful. They put up like 24 in the first half. Can't win a basketball game like that. So.
Yeah, both games were pretty sloppy for all 4 of the team's standards, but yeah, Michigan State, I was not impressed with them. I don't think they should be number 1. I still think Kansas is the best team in college basketball, but Duke also had a strong showing for me. I didn't think they were going to be that good this year, but
Yeah, watching the first game, Kansas losing by 2 had 28 turnovers. So
They had, 17 in the first
yeah.
half, something
So
like that.
I think they're going to clean that up, and they're just going to be up in the top 3 all year. And I wouldn't be surprised if they make a run late in the NCAA tournament. But I liked what Duke had going there. Obviously, I liked what Cassius Stanley did. I thought he had a really good game, and but I think that they're too young still.
I think this is a typical Champions Classic game for the first games of the season. Obviously, you've got number 1 or top 15 recruits playing for all 4 of these teams, and it's just obviously the first game together on the big stage playing Madison Square Garden. Obviously, Kansas had a lot of turnovers, which I feel like that costed them the game. And then Michigan State, like Turner said, I haven't seen them play that bad in a while, but also I'd like to highlight Tyrese Maxey had 26 points off the bench for Kentucky. I thought that was
What a game.
His comeout was
as a freshman hitting a clutch 3 within the last minute.
And that was
deep
back.
three.
That wasn't even that was NBA
that was crazy.
deep.
Yeah.
Aside from those 2 games, obviously those 4 teams are going to be up there all year, but there were a lot of other teams that impressed last night in their first games. Louisville, who's been really hyped up before this year, they beat Miami. Florida looked good. Gonzaga looked good. Seton Hall looked good with Miles Powell. So there are a lot of good teams this year. I think it's going to be a really good year.
Wait, one quick thing I want to add. Memphis, James Wiseman last night played really well. I think they could have a shot in the tournament if
James Wiseman is looking like the clear-cut favorite for the number 1 pick next year.
He's going to be a dog.
Before we move on to the Alabama-LSU game, I'd like to talk about Gonzaga. I feel like Gonzaga is always overrated.
Yes,
You can say that again.
Yeah,
Big
because
Sky?
I mean
They're in the Big Sky, man. That's a
they're
tough
number
conference.
8 right now, and it's if they want to be put on the map, they're gonna have to play somebody other than Alabama State as their first game of the season.
Well,
most teams play.
At least St. Mary's
play
is
bad
going
teams
for
the
it.
first
They
game.
they showed that they're worth talking about because they beat Wisconsin
That's not much of an achievement.
Well, I know, but it was still a Big Ten team.
I'm kidding.
It 65-63. There's a reason St. Mary's is ranked and Gonzaga isn't. So I think St. Mary's is going to really go for it, make them the relevant team in that conference. I think Gonzaga is going to start falling off slowly but surely.
Because I'd like to point out again, their next game is North Dakota, Texas A&M, Texas Arlington, and then Southern Mississippi. I don't see them as they do okay in the tournament, but I just feel like I'm always overrated.
Yeah, got to pad their stats early.
Let's talk about the granddaddy football game of the year.
Well,
the Alabama LSU.
Okay, this is why I was mad that the playoff rankings have LSU at 2.
Why? Because they had such a
3.
marketing opportunity.
They had such a marketing
Yeah.
opportunity at 1 and 2 that was going to be like Ohio State, Michigan in 06. This just like this real like 1 versus 2. This has such a huge outcome, and even though it's 2v3 now and it's got as much consequences, it's really unfortunate that the college football playoff ranking system just kind of robbed them of that opportunity. So.
Let's go ahead and say who you have winning. We have some Alabama fans here, Turner, Lee. So let's go ahead and go through our predictions. I'm going to go ahead and say that I think Joe Burrow is better than Tua Tagovailoa. Tua is probably not going to play. He's going to be a game time decision.
He's fine. He's fine.
He is?
I think he'll play.
Without a doubt, he's going to play. No
Biggest
question.
game of the year.
All right.
Yeah,
If he plays, I still have LSU winning. I have LSU winning 28-27 in Tuscaloosa.
I think this is going to be
All-time classic.
Yeah.
Between these two.
I think this is going to be well, first off, if he can't pronounce the last name, I think there's a general rule that just don't try to pronounce Tua's last name.
Is that not how you pronounce it?
Well, it's
Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah, it's Tua Tagovailoa, but you kind of like stumbled at the end. It doesn't matter. It's gone. LSU, Alabama. I don't know why I brought that up. I think I think Tua he has to play. This is just too big of a game. There have only been 3 teams that have won in Tuscaloosa in 7 years. So this is going to be a tough one for LSU, but this is a very important game for Alabama. They have to win this game because, if LSU loses, it's a quality loss. In my opinion, they're still in talks. But if Alabama loses at home without really playing a quality opponent so far, this is a must-win for Alabama. However, I got LSU 35-32. It's going to be a close one.
Only in the SEC do they give credit for tough losses.
Well, they do. I mean,
I know,
Alabama got in without even playing in the
SEC
championship
is
game.
The most competitive.
I mean, yeah,
by
but
far.
tough loss.
College football by
Connor's
far.
still upset about Purdue.
Yeah, I am.
All right, Turner.
They're still better than
All
us.
right. I don't know. The line right now is 6.5 to Alabama. I was actually just at Alabama University.
University of Alabama.
University of Alabama.
Yeah, same thing.
Same thing. A lot of talk about. I was there. A lot of talk was Tua is going to play. They have a lot of confidence. The crowd, a lot of students are going to be there. It's going to be a packed house. I think if it was at LSU, I think LSU would blow them out. But I think Alabama in Tuscaloosa is just, I think, 34-28 Alabama.
Connor?
Yeah, I think Alabama wins just because Ed Orgeron is a lot worse of a coach than Nick Saban. That's the deciding factor.
I love Coach O.
I mean, he's funny and everything, but he's not Nick Saban. That's
I agree.
I don't think it'll be even close
That's
to.
a good point. Yeah.
I don't even think it'll be close to an all-time classic. I think Alabama wins handily.
Ooh.
Oh, jeez.
Wow. David?
All right. This game, although Alabama's the favorites, I want to go LSU here.
All right. There we go.
Because this year they've had the experience in the big games playing Auburn, Texas, and Florida. So I think that'll help them, and they'll come out of there with a small win. Or not like score-wise.
Yeah, it's margin, yeah.
Yeah, margin-wise.
It's a big win, but small margin.
Big win,
Big
obviously.
win, small margin.
Yeah.
Let me guess what Lee's picking.
I would like to point out LSU has not beaten Alabama in 9 years, and considering last year
Wasn't that in Tuscaloosa?
last year the
Last
game
year
was
was in-
in Death Valley, and Alabama won 29-0.
Yeah.
So
that's last year.
And I feel like
year.
this year, going off of last year, Alabama has easily one of the most explosive offenses, especially with their wide receiving core.
Wide receiver.
Didn't
core is one of the
LSU
best
lose
I've
their
ever had.
starting linebacker too?
They did. Their tackling leader's out, or their sack leader.
Yeah.
Well,
they
I
left the team for personal
Sure,
reasons
that's
right before
gonna-
the biggest game. of
I
his
will
career.
say
That's
this,
gonna
though.
go out.
You really can't go on trends because I'm just going to use Wisconsin, Minnesota for an example. Last
Because
year.
of course he is.
Well, no, because this is what I know. Because
You know
Wisconsin.
everything, right?
No, I don't know
Everything
everything. That's why
Wisconsin.
I'm using Wisconsin, Minnesota.
Everything about Wisconsin.
Wisconsin won every game from 2004 to 2018 in Paul Bunyan-Axe game. And Minnesota, even though they came into Madison a heavy underdog, they beat Wisconsin. You can't use trends like that, even though Wisconsin won handily in Minnesota the year before. So you can't use trends.
Also, I'd be a lot more scared playing in either Tuscaloosa or Death Valley than
Madison.
Well,
See,
Madison
the
is
key to
a scary place.
The
Camp
key to that
Randall-
Madison game
Camp
is
Randall's
Alex Hornibrook
great,
was
but
Not.
it's not Death Valley or Tuscaloosa.
Anyways, my final score
Season
prediction, I
comparison.
feel like I'm going to go with Connor said that Alabama's going to win pretty handily, and final score 42-27.
42-27.
Wow. All right.
It's going to be
AJ.
high scoring.
I'm gonna go with Alabama. I think because they got the home game, that's really gonna help them. I think Alabama's gonna get out to a big lead early. LSU's gonna come back, but just come up short. I got the Crimson Tide 35-31.
All right. So those are the predictions for Alabama LSU. And now I sat down with Olivia Phillips earlier in the week, and we talked about the Royals volleyball team and their run to the state championship that they play in this weekend. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Hello, guys. Welcome back to the Royal Download. My name is Tristan Flynn. I'm here with Olivia Phillips. Olivia, thank you for joining us. Go ahead and say a little bit about you, who you are, what you do.
Well, I'm a junior at HSC. I'm on the varsity volleyball team. I've been on the team since freshman year, and we're going to state.
Yeah, that's completely just cool and awesome in itself. Explain like the ride it's kind of been this season, like the journey it's been to state.
It's been hard, but it's been amazing and definitely worth it. It's really cool to see the community all come together and support one team for one goal, which is winning state.
Yeah, you guys seem to have a giant like group of support right now going into state. And it's really cool to see all the teams that have supported you guys, and that's kind of been the way throughout all the season. Go ahead and explain like some of your favorite moments throughout the season and like how they've propelled your team forward.
Well, obviously Mudsock was a big deal because we won, and
I couldn't hear myself think during that.
oh my gosh, it was crazy. I think we had the We Got Spirit cheer going on for 10 minutes maybe.
Yeah, that's about right.
And then Mudsock 2.0 in sectionals, that was definitely just a season changer because when we beat when we beat Fishers again, it was amazing and everyone just knew we're gonna get this. We got it.
Yeah. How about the playoffs, like going into state, so like semi-state, regionals?
Semi-state and regionals and sectional championship. They were all amazing games going into it, especially for regionals and semi-state. We didn't really know the teams, so we were a little bit nervous, didn't know what to think. But they were some of the best games I've ever played in my whole life. Most exciting, definitely.
Yeah. Go ahead and like highlight some of your key mentalities going into state, like against Newcastle, who's obviously a notoriously good team in volleyball. They have some outstanding players. So go ahead and like talk about some of your mindsets going in.
Well, we talk about team culture a lot, and this year our team culture is family. So we all love one another.
Can definitely see that.
Yeah.
Being around the team. Yeah.
We all love one another. There's no drama at all. Especially that's hard to get with a group of that many girls when you're together every day. But honestly, none of us want to lose. Last year, end of the season, we're all a little bit, tired, getting to the point where it was like, ugh, it's kind of over, But this year, no one wants to lose. Everyone wants to be on the court 100% of the time, and everyone else to play their best game and be their best, and we all are each other's number one supporters.
Why do you think that is?
Coach Young, at the beginning of the season, wanted us to come up with a culture, just kind of define culture. It was actually at a team camp in the beginning of the summer, so teams weren't even made yet. And right off the bat, the seniors said we want it to be family, and they've established that really well. So I think that's all seniors and Coach Young. They made sure everyone knew that that's what they wanted the culture to be like, and everyone's following what they put down.
So you're going to be here next year. You're going to be back on the court.
Yeah.
What are some of your expectations possibly for next year? I don't want to overshadow what's happening this year, because
Right.
this year you've had a special run. But just looking forward to next year, you have to be excited with the group that's coming back.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it stinks that we're losing the seniors that we're
Definitely,
losing.
yeah.
We love them, and they're amazing players, amazing people. But definitely we got some really good people that are going to be coming back, and some freshmen that are coming in that are really good as well. And I'm excited because, yes, we are losing some of our amazing seniors, but also other schools are losing even more. And so it'll definitely be interesting to see, especially since we know how to go through. We didn't even know how to be in second round of sectionals. So now that we've gone through the ride, it's going to be interesting to see how we come back even stronger next year.
So Worthen Arena, where you're playing sectional championships, the podcast people, most of us will be there for live broadcasts and stuff. But we were wondering, because it's a massive venue, and there are going to be a lot of people there. What's the pressure going to be like? How have you guys kind of felt that pressure? How have you guys kind of dealt with it so far in practice leading up towards it?
Well, we focus on our side of the net. Our coach always tells us to focus on us. Don't worry about whatever's going on. You know, when the We Got Spirit cheer went on and I couldn't even hear myself think.
Yeah.
That was definitely a lot. But also, I've been to Worthen Arena a few times to watch volleyball. My older sister, who plays in college, has played there. So I definitely have seen how big it is and know the crowds that are coming, and just kind of tell myself, you're doing this for your team. You're not doing this for yourself, and focusing on my teammates and helping them instead of focusing on the crowd and everything else that's going out, the outside noise.
You guys are going to have a lot of people from HSC there.
That's
so go
awesome.
ahead and tell them, the viewers, what you guys want to go ahead and see from them, or what they should know going into the game, possibly. Like what you guys have done behind the scenes to prepare.
I mean, we've been working so hard in all of our practices, been lifting, and we are so ready for state. We just want all of you guys to be there to support, so show out, 5 o'clock, Worthen Arena, and it's gonna kick Newcastle.
Let's do it. That has been our interview with Olivia Phillips, number 25, on the volleyball court. We want to thank you for tuning in, and back to the set. Thanks, Tristan. And now we're back to the Royal Download. I threw it to myself, and we're going to go ahead and go into the Zach Zinger. Zach, do you have a trivia question for us?
Well, I mean, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, you seem surprised. Okay.
No,
All right, so since y'all are talking about college football, I figured I'd give a college football.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, let's stay appropriate with it. Now, okay, so the University of
took your hands off the
Oklahoma has the
keyboard.
longest winning streak in college football history.
Yes.
Now, the question is, it started in 1953. I'm not gonna say the end date because that'll give away the answer. Now, how many years? Sorry, not how many. How many games did they win in a row?
I don't know.
25, 43, 47, or 64?
Wait, what team is this?
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Oh, Oklahoma.
47.
43.
Can I hear the options
43.
again?
Yeah,
43.
the options again.
25, 43, 47, and 64, right?
Whoa.
25,
Five,
43,
43, 47, 60. I want to go
47.
40,
43 wins.
43.
I want to go 43.
I'm assuming everybody answered somewhere in there. The answer is 47.
Oh!
They were
Come
victorious
on.
for 47 games in a row from 1953 to 1957.
Those were the days, Tristan.
Yeah.
You should have been alive.
Yeah. Thank you, Zach, for that trivia question. That proves I don't know my own team. But let's go ahead and let's go into the 2-minute drill with some final thoughts about this episode. What are we looking forward to this weekend? Other than the obvious, any games, NFL possibly we're looking
Ohio
out
State,
for.
Maryland.
Basketball.
Any basketball, NBA games we're looking out for this week?
Who wants to start here?
The Rockets do play the Warriors this week.
The Warriors are so bad.
Yeah, they I mean,
So are the Rockets.
deloading and Draymond, and that's it.
We really didn't
Draymond's
have.
hurt.
We really,
not even
Draymond's hurt.
we really didn't have time to talk about it, but Penn State, Minnesota is going to be a really
Probably
good
gonna be
game.
a good game, yeah.
It's going to determine
Minnesota
if
by
Minnesota is
5.
actually a
Northwestern.
relevant team,
Something
or
special.
if, in my opinion, they're just an overrated. They've only played Nebraska. So we'll see if PJ Fleck can pull a win out there. I don't think he can because it's PJ Fleck. But, Yeah, we'll see. I think Penn State wins. It's going to be a fun game.
I don't know if Penn State's going to pull a Notre Dame here and get themselves into the top 5, top 10, and then just completely fail.
Yeah.
Because obviously Notre Dame is in their private conference.
They're independent.
They're independent.
They're really not
Remember.
in one. So, I mean, if they were in one, they'd obviously be in the Big Ten, and that'd make the
ACC.
Big Ten. You'd put them in the ACC.
Well, they're in the
because they're in the
ACC.
ACC for
for
everything else.
Honestly, the conferences aren't even based on regions anymore. Like,
No.
how is Texas A&M in the SEC?
How is
'Cause it's in the
Missouri in the SEC?
That's a better question.
One thing
Why is Missouri
I want to bring up Monday.
Louisville in the
Best
ACC.
question.
What?
Why is
Louisville should be
Rutgers
in the Big Ten.
What market were they trying to get
All right,
there?
Turner, go ahead.
Monday Night Football this week, we got Seahawks 49ers.
We're actually gonna have a good game on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, that's
folks.
one of the things I was
Shut
going
up.
to say. It's
You
been
wanna show up for
kind of
that?
lackluster. We've had Steelers Dolphins on Monday night. We've had awful games.
Jets.
I think this is going to be the first quality game. I think the 49ers are going to take their first loss. You can kind of compare them to the Patriots. They've played absolutely nobody. The only good win is against the Rams. Against the Rams with no Gurley.
What did I tell you about the Rams?
Is
You
Josh
kind of
Gordon
need your
cleared
knee
to
to
play this
run.
week?
I don't know.
As-
Another thing I was going to bring up, they just added Josh Gordon. I also don't think the Niners have played a quarterback anywhere near Russell Wilson's level. I think he can get out of the pocket, and that defense is going to get exposed just like the Patriots did against Lamar Jackson.
I agree. I think Seahawks are gonna go ahead and take it.
Yeah, same.
Hope not.
All right. Anyone else have any final thoughts here on the podcast, or are we good? Speak now, forever hold your peace.
Go volleyball.
Pretty best.
Go-
player.
oh, yeah,
Giants
go
are winning
volleyball.
2024 Super Bowl.
In Worthen Arena at Ball State University, HSE volleyball takes on Newcastle Trojans. So make sure to go
Number
ahead
one in the
and
nation.
Be there.
check that out. Live stream. Radio is on Southeastern Sports Network YouTube channel right here, actually. So you can go ahead and check that out. Nathan and I will be there. We'll be on the call. So we hope you guys check that out. Make sure to cheer on the team and follow us on social media. Thank you for listening or watching, depending on where you find this. And we want to thank you and have a great day.
Giants are 2024 Super Bowl champions.
Daniel Jones is garbage.
Here. At least you didn't say where podcasts were sold.